What's up, YouTube? Finally back again, bro. You know what I'm saying? Back again with another video. You know what I'm saying? Been quite a minute, bro. Not gonna lie. It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? Weather, bro. Weather just been trash. I'm not gonna hold you. But what's up, YouTube? I hope y'all doing well, taking care of yourself. You know what I mean? Things is starting to heat up, man. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like, it's hot as hell out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the South, so you know what I'm saying? It's always been hot in the South, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in comparison to when I was living in Florida, here, you know what I'm saying? In Alabama, super duper hot. You know what I'm saying? Usually, like years ago, when I used to live here, you know what I mean? The temperature was like real, like chill and lax. Like nowadays, it's just like, you know, it's starting to get like Florida basically. It's starting to be as hot as Florida. Like climate change for real, that shit coming. You know what I mean? But like real niggas know, like that's really because of the pole shift. That's really why this all happening. Pole shift. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but like on the grander scale, you know what I mean? Earth is in a totally different space. You know what I'm saying? So this place we live in is being exposed to energies that's well beyond what we're accustomed to. You know what I mean? In these generations, in this paradigm, in this era, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Today, I want to talk about some, you know, my last video I talked about like, you know, just some random stuff. But this video I want to talk about, you know, what I started talking about, you know what I mean, which is like, you know, thought-provoking topics, mind-opening topics, you know what I mean? And if you ain't aware, you know what I'm saying, you know, Earth has a planetary grid. So, you know what I'm saying? I done mapped out everything I done talked about previously. So all this stuff, you know, all my videos, you can watch in succession. You know what I mean? So you can grasp all this stuff all together. You know what I'm saying? This topic in particular, you know what I'm saying, I've been wanting to talk about for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to show y'all something real quick. I gotta show y'all something real quick, bro. Look at this. Yeah, for anybody who, you know, really be outside, like the term being outside, like really mean like actually being out in nature, you know what I'm saying? Like being familiar with your space, you know what I'm saying? But that's some lion's mane mushroom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just growing on the tree and shit. You know what I mean? If you ain't know, mushrooms grow on decomposing trees. So, you know, any trees that's like still up, that's like on its way out the door. You know what I mean? The mushrooms start growing on it, so it can break its shit down. You know what I'm saying? So you know, once it's fully back into the ground, like, you know, completely wasted away, you know, it can reincorporate itself back into the soil, so something else can grow out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's cool how nature just works together with each other. But, you know, humans, we so oblivious to, like, you know, these things. We look at, so it's some people on Earth that don't even think that Earth is alive. Like, they just think it's a big rock. So disrespectful, man. Crazy. But today we gonna talk about Earth's planetary grid. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about Earth's planetary grid. So, like, you know, the term "as above, so below." I love sayings like that, because like I said, it's like a universal language. You know what I'm saying? A metaphor, you know, if by definition, is when you're referring to one thing that also refers to something else. So, like, you know what I'm saying? If you get into stuff like etymology, you can learn how words is connected and have many different meanings. Metaphors kind of like tie in multiple meanings of a concept or idea or something. You know what I'm saying? So that term "as above, so below," like, people say that because, you know, the things that's like bigger than us are actually a reflection of us. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can use your body as an example of learning how the earth operates or how the sun operates. You know what I'm saying? Because as above, so below. Like, everything is a reflection of itself. You know what I'm saying? So, because the system that's used to create these things ain't nothing but a reciprocal repeating pattern. You know what I'm saying? So, when it comes to Earth's planetary grid, the first thing I want to talk about is a person who understood this, like, to a very high degree. You know what I mean? A champion for understanding how the mechanics of our reality works. You know what I'm saying? And that's Nikola Tesla. So, Nikola Tesla, if you know anything about him, he had this lab or facility that was in Shoreham, New York, Long Island, New York. You know what I'm saying? And at that facility, he built this tower. This tower was called Wardenclyffe Tower. So, Wardenclyffe Tower, you know what I'm saying, was one of his biggest projects that I know of. You know what I'm saying? It was a big tower. It looked like a water tower. You know what I'm saying? Where they hold like a water reservoir. You know what I'm saying? Like a water container. It looked like one of those things. But basically like a 187-foot tower. You know what I mean? With I think it was a 67-foot copper dome. You know what I'm saying? Wardenclyffe Tower was supposed to be used as a conduit for free energy, free wireless energy. So, if you know anything about Tesla, you know there's this thing called the Tesla coil. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, if you ever seen a lava lamp, you know what I mean? There's this other thing that's similar to that. They got it's like a little orb, and they got like the electrical like pulses coming out of it, and when you touch it, it's like, you know, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, it looked pretty cool. I can't remember the name of that shit, but you know, one of the most well-known common things that Tesla made was Tesla coil, and You know, it's basically a device that creates free energy, free wireless energy. And Wardenclyffe Tower was like the macro version of that. You know what I'm saying? It was the big version of that. It was supposed to be used globally. Like, it was supposed to be a global. He wanted it to be global. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, Wardenclyffe Tower was also supposed to be a transmitter for messages, images, you know what I mean? Or like a transmitter and receiver of messages and imagery, you know, to relate information. You know what I mean? Similar to what we use the internet for. So he basically was creating a primitive version of the internet. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But what's so dope about Wardenclyffe Tower is like the way it would have operated was he was trying to utilize the free energy in the atmosphere. So, you know what I'm saying? In tandem with Earth's electromagnetic grid. You know what I'm saying? So Earth is like a conductor, you know what I'm saying? So it has its own system that it operates on, you know what I mean, to you know, cycle energy, you know what I mean? And like it's a more deeper inclination as to why that is. You know what I'm saying? That I'll explain later. But Wardenclyffe was, you know, built between 1901 to 1902, and it was funded by J.P. Morgan. But they removed the funding once they found out like what his purpose and intent was with the tower. So once they realized what the tower was for, you know what I'm saying, they stopped funding them. They stopped, you know, supporting it because, you know, it was gonna be too helpful for like the collective, like the whole. It was gonna be too helpful. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no way for these niggas to make money off this shit. So like, I mean, they could have still made money off of it, but like, you know, not in the way that Tesla wanted to use it. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to do something for the people. You know what I'm saying? But them big business guys, you know, J.P. Morgan, they weren't going for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, another reason why he didn't see success with that was because around the same time, the transatlantic radio was being created. So, you know, that kind of undermined, like, cause the tower was gonna be used for virtually the same stuff the radio does. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, that also undermined what he was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing stuff. I don't know who that is, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of Wardenclyffe Tower. It was supposed to be a tower conduit for free wireless energy, utilizing the free energy in the sky and the atmosphere in tandem with the earth. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, like, this is why I love Tesla. He was so ahead of his time. You know what I'm saying? This is why he is spoken about as like a legendary, iconic figure, bro. Because the things he was trying to do was actually like breaking, like paradigm shifting type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that you know, most humans weren't ready for. You know what I mean? Because they still selfish and greedy. You know what I mean? They still got a whole bunch of lower aspects that suppress like how we really supposed to be living here. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? Another thing that gives like credence to what Tesla was trying to do, you know what I'm saying, and his the logic behind the things he was doing. You know what I'm saying? People got this saying nowadays, to go touch grass. You know what I'm saying? When you've been in the crib too much, when you've been, you know, playing too many games or watching too much TV. You know what I'm saying? Just be inside the house for too long. You know what I'm saying? People tell you as an insult to go touch grass. You know what I'm saying? And you know that saying came from the concept of grounding. You know what I'm saying? Where you go outside. You know what I'm saying? With no shoes on. You go outside with no shoes on, and you know, you just walk around in the grass. You know what I'm saying? Because doing this, like literally, dispels negative energy. You know what I'm saying? That's literally what this stuff do. That's what grounding does. You know what I'm saying? So you know, Tesla was gonna use that tower as like using Earth as like the conductor. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? To funnel the energy in the sky to the ground. You know what I'm saying? The tower was supposed to be the middleman. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, what he was doing was facts. Like it was sound. You know what I mean? That's why they didn't let it succeed. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we're gonna go a little bit more in detail about Earth's electromagnetic grid. So the next thing I want to talk about is ley lines. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go ahead and give a gist of everything we're gonna talk about. So I'm gonna talk about the ley lines, then I'm gonna talk about vortexes. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna talk about toroidal fields. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it was so difficult for me to say that, because I say that shit pretty often. But yeah, toroidal fields. So you know what I mean? Understanding how toroidal fields work will help you understand why ley lines are even a thing, and also give more context to as above so below. You know what I'm saying? Because everything has, you know, some sort of toroidal field pattern, you know what I mean, at the core of anything that is alive. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because life here is all about reciprocation. You know what I'm saying? Cycles. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So as things like, you know, like I showed you with the mushrooms, as things decompose, you know what I mean? It's just creating a space for the cycles to continue so something else can grow out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's how nature works. You know what I'm saying? Humans, you know what I'm saying? You know, in their adolescence don't understand that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Their mentality is just to consume. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When you had a consumer mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like you strip everything, you know what I mean, until nothing is left. You know what I'm saying? But instead, you know, like in healthy relationships with anything, a person, you know what I'm saying? Nature, you know what I'm saying? Like you need reciprocation, you know what I mean? A balance of reciprocation, you know what I mean? For things to last. You feel me? So until we like get in a space where we only focus on that, you know, there's always gonna be problems in the world, bro. For sure. You know what I mean? Back to the topic. So ley lines, you feel me? So like this term was coined by, I got my notes. So I just washed my hair, bro, and that shit's still wet. Looks pretty good, not gonna lie. I haven't been able to wash my hair in a while. So, you know what I mean? People be telling me my hair looks nice, but I be thinking in the back of my mind, like, bro, I ain't washed this shit in like months. Like, it still looks good to you? Like, that's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? People hate on my locks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some people, like, either they love it or they hate it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I mean? With these type of locks, I don't have to go get them twisted or nothing. Like, if I was to go get my locks twisted, it would just be so I could look cleaner. You know what I'm saying? More presentable for like, you know, people who focus on things like that. So like, you know, I don't really care about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, it's called Freeform for a reason. Like, it means you're not supposed to touch it. You know what I'm saying? And the only time you do touch it is when you're trying to clean it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to clean it, moisturize it, and nourish it. So like, you don't want to touch it and manipulate it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? With Freeform Locs, like, the name speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? It's free forming, meaning like, you know, I started with the fro. You know what I mean? I did the little rag method. You know what I mean? Bundled it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, twisted them, got little knots on there, and I just let it grow. You know what I'm saying? And I washed, rinsed my hair with natural products. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You also have to not give a fuck about what people think. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're trying to always focus on, like, people who like to get their hair done all the time and stuff, like, they do those things because they want people to look at them in a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? So they try to be perfect. It's just like, it's no different than people who wear makeup or, like, you know, focus on what type of outfit they got on or something like that, or, you know, go get plastic surgery or BBLs and stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you focusing too much on what people think about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're only supposed to focus on yourself. You know what I mean? As soon as you start focusing on what everybody else think about you and doing, that's how you get lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why, like, when I first got my locks, like, people admired them, so like they started trying to doing it themselves, but like it wasn't working because, you know, they was trying too hard to be perfect. So like they would do stuff to it and it started, you know, they wouldn't like it, you know what I mean, and it just started looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it ain't for everybody. I'm a free-spirited individual, so it only made sense that I would get like my hair would look like this, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Fits my character quite well. You know what I'm saying? I might cut them off one day, but just shorter so I can regrow them. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. Little quick fact about me, you know what I'm saying? I did my hair like this because my hair grows so fast. Like, I got tired of getting a haircut, so, you know, I would just, you know, just let it grow, and that's how it turned out to get like this. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I took care of my hair, so that's why it looks so nice. But, you know, when I say I took care of my hair, like, you probably overthink that, like, oh, you probably be all up in the mirror. Like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? That's another reason why I got these locks specifically, because you really don't have to do nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? The most you have to do is when you're washing it. You know what I mean? Back on topic, you know what I'm saying? So, what was we talking about? Ley lines. The term was coined by British antiquarian Alfred Watkins. You know what I'm saying? According to ChatGPT. You know what I'm saying? According to ChatGPT, ley lines are hypothetical lines that connect to various ancient structures and certain landmarks across the globe. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's pretty much where the term ley lines come from. You know what I'm saying? You can think of ley lines as like, you know, like, if y'all ever seen Naruto, you know what I'm saying? There's a character in that show called named Neji. You know what I mean? And Neji, he had these eyes that could see people's chakra points, and like it would basically reveal people's energy pathways for their chakra. I mean, yeah, for their chi. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, they got that concept in that show from Chinese medicine. You know what I'm saying? I know people have heard of acupuncture. So acupuncture is where they got that stuff from. And when you look at acupuncture, you can kind of get a general understanding of how ley lines work. So, you know what I mean? In acupuncture, there are certain points on the body where energy like swells and like cultivates. You know what I mean? AKA chakras. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, you know what I mean? And when you think about chakras, like I said, everything people use is like a way of categorizing things so they can reference things. It's just like the way they do it isn't in a phantasmal kind of way, but that phantasmal kind of way is just to give credence to like how dynamic these things are, like, you know what I'm saying, how powerful these things are, you know what I mean. But you know what I mean, in Chinese medicine and acupuncture, you know what I mean, that's basically what acupuncture is for. It's for like help regulating your energy pathways, or you know, your chi, you know what I'm saying, basically, aka your bloodstream, you know what I mean, your blood flow. That's basically what that's hinting towards, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like, as you build awareness about these things, you know what I mean, if anybody has ever heard of like qigong or tai chi, you know what I'm saying, that's also helping you regulate your blood, you know what I'm saying, through breath work and actively moving your body. Like these things help increase your blood flow, so like to certain parts of your body, so it can operate as it's intended to be, you know what I'm saying. It's actually some really powerful stuff, you know what I'm saying. But you know, it goes past a lot of people's head, because you know, most people, when they work on like well-being, they only focus on like lifting weights and looking big, you know what I'm saying. Like that's the thing about a lot of humans, bro, is like y'all focus on like what looks big and flashy, but like, you know, as the term what is it called, all that glitters isn't gold, you know what I'm saying. Like everything that looks flashy is not good for you, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna just let that sit with y'all, you know what I'm saying. So like yeah, like think of ley lines like how an acupuncturist thinks about how, you know, they regulate your energy, aka your bloodstream, you know what I'm saying, so things can flow, you know what I mean. This is also why they say flow like water, you know what I'm saying, because the more fluid and the more ease things can move like water, you know what I'm saying, like, because everything is energy, you know what I'm saying, and you know, energy and everything is always in motion. So like, you just want to aid the process of that stuff moving smoothly, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean. That's why like spring water is so nourishing for you to drink, you know what I'm saying, because it's from a natural source where those things like naturally form in that way, like, and that's why when you drink faucet water, it tastes like shit, you know what I'm saying, because like the whole structuring of the water is like completely off kilter, like it's completely untuned, like, you know what I'm saying, because it's not flowing like how water flows, you know what I'm saying. So, you know what I mean, I knew I was gonna go on little tangents, but like I have to tell y'all this stuff because it's supposed to just, you know, reiterate like my points, you know what I'm saying. So like the next thing I want to talk about is vortexes, you know what I mean. So like let's go back to acupuncture. Like in acupuncture, you know what I mean, you, those points, those meridian points where energy swells, you know what I mean, you can think about vortexes as the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The same exact thing. So like those ancient sites and structures across the globe, those are built on meridian points. You know what I'm saying? Where energy is abundant. You know what I mean? These vortexes are created from Earth's electromagnetic grid. You know what I mean? Based off of, like, there's a billion mosquitoes out here, but based off of Earth's electromagnetic grid. You know what I'm saying? It's created from toroidal fields. You know what I'm saying? Toroidal fields is like a structure. It's like this donut-shaped structure that I'm trying to. I would say it's a three-dimensional object, but like it's the shape that things take, the three-dimensional shape that things take as it spirals. You know what I'm saying? As energy flows and spirals. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. In order for you to create this shape, you need something at the core of it to regulate it. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, as above, so below. On Earth, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Every individual has a body. You know what I'm saying? And in the body, the one thing that regulates your blood is the heart. You know what I'm saying? This is why people say follow your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's going to lead you in the right direction. Because you become in line with how things are universally. You feel me? So, like, you know what I mean? A toroidal field creates like it's like a donut shaped spiraling like shape, and it basically creates like a swell. If you would think like a whirlpool, like think of a whirlpool with like as a donut shape, you know what I mean? And like that's basically what, when people talk about auras, you know what I mean, or magnetic fields and stuff like that, or the atmosphere, like this is what they're talking about. Like this is what they're talking about. They talking about toroidal fields, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So like I said, if you reference our body, you know what I mean, things come from the center, from the heart, you know what I mean, swells up, out, and cycles right back in from underneath, and it keeps going in that same cycle. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? A reference, the infinity symbol. You know what I mean? That's the science of the infinity symbol. It creates a toroidal field. You know what I'm saying? So like, cause energy is cycling back into itself. You know what I mean? So like, as above, so below. If you know that that's what's happening as an individual, we all know we have auras, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you standing next to somebody, you know what I mean, there's friction, bro, because of our aura, our energy. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, when you think of toroidal fields, as above, so below, this is what's happening to us as individuals. That's also what's happening macro. You know what I'm saying? So this is why Earth has an electromagnetic grid. You know what I mean? This is why ley lines are a thing. You know what I'm saying? When you see like an actual animation of how a toroidal field works, you can see it has a bunch of lines that's intersecting, you know what I mean, that's, you know, spiraling basically. You know what I mean? Like those ley lines fall right onto those lines. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when you looking at Earth, you know what I mean, you got two poles. You know what I mean? Like this is where like the energy is cycling up, and, you know, coming back in at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the design. You know what I mean? Everything in the universe is doing this. Everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, toroidal fields. You know what I'm saying? Let me read my notes, bro. Let me read my notes real quick. So, okay, we talked about the ley lines. You know, let me go back to vortexes. So, what I wrote down, you know what I mean? Just so people know, like, I use ChatGPT to find out this information. So, or to help me compile this information. Really, I fashioned it together myself. So, you know what I'm saying? I took what ChatGPT was saying and cross-referenced it with what I already know and wrote this stuff down. So, there are locations on the earth that is more felt and intensified vortexes, often creating a sense of peace, insight, healing, or physical sensation. These vortexes give credence to the existence of Earth's electromagnetic planetary grid. Oh my God, it's a piece of shit. All right. Just as in Chinese medicine with acupuncture, these vortexes serve as meridian points on the grid. So they in particular are points on the grid where the ley lines intersect. Examples would be any ancient architectural site. They actually have vortexes that you can go to physically and experience for yourself in Sedona, Arizona. If y'all never heard of that place, that's one of the reasons why that place is so popular, because of the vortexes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put pictures of all this stuff so y'all can see what I'm talking about. The Bermuda Triangle, you know what I'm saying? Everybody know about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bermuda Triangle, like, is a weird spot where lots of trippy, weird things happen, where stuff disappears. You know what I'm saying? They basically go through portals and stuff. It's because, the Bermuda Triangle is basically like, a vortex. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. You know what I mean? Stuff like burial mounds. You know what I mean? See, like, ancient civilizations, they try to make it seem like, you know, some of them were kind of primitive and stuff like that, but, like, you know, they had way more awareness than we do today of these things. You know what I'm saying? Because they was outside for real. They was really outside, like, in tune with nature, bro. Like, they really knew about this stuff. So they fashioned their whole lifestyle and cultures around it so they can live a more harmonious life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Very simple stuff, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, nowadays humans overcomplicate and overthink about stuff. And it's one of the reasons why they so lost. You know what I'm saying? That's why. So that's vortexes. One more. I wrote one more thing now. Yeah. Toroidal fields. An energy flowing structure that appears all throughout nature and life as a whole. Energy flows from the center, cycles back into itself with a donut shape. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the word Torus, meaning donut shaped. Yeah. This is a fundamental structure for creating an electromagnetic grid, or aka an aura. You feel me? So hopefully I help people build more awareness on the existence of Earth's electromagnetic grid. And you know, since everything is a reflection of itself, you know what I'm saying? Naturally, when you learn these things, it unlocks awareness about other things. So by you learning about Earth helps you learn about your own physical body, bro. So like man, it's like billion mosquitoes, bro. So like it's literally a billion of these niggas like flying around me right now. Like literally. So sad. Like this space is so like off balance, bro. Like I swear to God. It's supposed to be like dragonflies out here to eat these motherfuckers, but like I said, that's how you know shit is off balance. Like, you know what I mean? And there's stupid things like, you know, mosquitoes breed in like sitting water. You know what I mean? Any little pools of water that's sitting outside, like in a bucket or a pot or something, they'll lay eggs in that shit and just keep breeding. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a bunch of shit like that out here. You know what I'm saying? But that's also how dragonflies breed. But when it's an overabundance of mosquitoes, ain't really much you can do. I'm gonna try to research this stuff so I can see if I can buy something like some like dragonfly eggs or something, so like I can change this shit, because it's so annoying, bro. Like I be wanting to come outside and like exercise or something, but it's so many fucking mosquitoes out here. I don't even want to be out here. Like it's really sad, bro. But I sit here and risk coming out here to make these videos. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's about it, bro. That should be it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like I said, now that you have awareness about this, it makes sense why people say go touch grass, because this shit literally helps regulate your energy. Like, no bullshit. All jokes aside, you know what I'm saying? This is why, you know, I like jokes and stuff, but sometimes it don't do nothing but distract people from the truth. This is a fact. You know what I'm saying? You can either tell a joke and tell the truth, or you could tell a joke that's like belittling something that's actually the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up. So it's just like, yeah, we need to stop doing that. We need to stop doing that shit. But hey, take care of yourself. I'm gonna talk to y'all later, bro. You know what I mean? I might redo this video tomorrow. I don't even know. But this should work, you know what I'm saying? Like, my notes is pretty spot on as far as like everything I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I got lots of other stuff I want to talk about, because, you know what I'm saying, I got people around me that's curious about this stuff, like family members, like younger family members and stuff. And like, when I mention certain things and I talk about certain things, they get scared, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing about all this information, is you being afraid is weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be afraid of shit. You know what I mean? You have to know who you really are, bro. You know what I'm saying? God in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? So stop that. You know what I mean? You have nothing to be afraid of but yourself. See you later, YouTube.